What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Carter here, and today we're taking a look at what I watched in the month of May. So it is June 5th today, a couple days late, but let's not waste any more time and take a look at what I watched in the month of May. The first thing that I watched in the month of May was The Gift, directed by Sam Raimi and starring Cate Blanchett. This film is really bizarre, really cool. Giovanni Ribisi delivers a fantastic performance. It had a twist that I saw coming, but it plays out in a way that's overall entertaining enough to make the rest of the film enjoyable. Next up, I watched Moon Knight, which if you've seen my Marvel shows ranked video, you know that Moon Knight is one of my least favorite shows so far. I'm not huge on it, but it was fun. It was fun one-time watch, and I'm curious to see where they go moving forward with the character, and I do hope they end up going with a little bit darker tone for the character in the future. And going back to Sam Raimi, I watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I am one of those people who had a great time with this film. I did not really have any complaints. It's kind of exactly what I expected from the film. I know a lot of people were expecting more as for the cameos or things like that, or just basically the multiverse aspect of it. And I do get why people had those complaints. It's just something that I just didn't find annoying, or it didn't bother me. There was nothing about the film that really bothered me. I just had fun with it, and that's all I could really ask for from a Doctor Strange film. And sticking with Sam Raimi, I watched The Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead. I love this film. Hadn't seen it since I watched it going into the 2013 remake reboot, which I also love that remake reboot. But as for the original film, it's a lot more gruesome and gross to look at than I remembered watching. It was really fun. I don't remember it being quite as comedic as it was. I also thought that just as a standalone film, it just works so well. And I haven't seen the rest of the Evil Dead franchise, so I will be doing reviews of those films coming shortly. But I'm very excited to see where this franchise goes, because I do know that it turns very quirky with, Ash versus Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, all of that stuff. I know it gets very bizarre and out there, and I'm really intrigued and excited for it because I also love Bruce Campbell. Okay, and next up, we're just going to make this a 2-for-1 combo. I watched both Firestarter films. The original 1982, I want to say, with Drew Barrymore as the leading actress, and then the newer one with Zac Efron as the father. Both of these films, both versions, are very meh. I will say, if I had to pick one to watch, I would watch the original Drew Barrymore version, just because I did think the practical effects were actually really cool and really well done for the time. I thought Drew Barrymore delivered a okay performance. And as for the new film, it's just boring. Zac Efron delivers a fine performance, and the script overall is just very meh. I fell asleep about halfway through, and then finishing that second half after waking up was really hard to get through. And completely switching the tone, I watched The Sadness, and I watched this film with my father. If you've seen The Sadness, you know how fucked up this film is. The eye scene, holy shit. My dad and I were just like, the whole time we're just like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the shit. It was just so gross, so over the top. The first 30 to 40 minutes were really genuinely awesome, and then I think after that, the amount of gruesomeness and just grossness with the actual story itself, not even with what you're seeing, but with the explanation behind everything, it's just so gross and gritty, and is definitely a one-time watch. I don't see myself ever rewatching this film because of how gross it is. I will say the one scene that I think I will rewatch on a not consistent basis, because that sounds gross and evil, but the subway sequence, I really thought that was cool, creepy, scary, thrilling. I really thought that sequence was well done. It's just that the rest of the film is a little bit too much for me. And to lighten up the mood after watching The Sadness, I watched Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. I genuinely really had a fun time with this film. I didn't love it. I know a lot of people out there are saying it's one of the best animated films of the past couple years, and that's again probably true. It's just that story-wise, I don't see myself feeling a need to go back and rewatch this film. But that being said, all of the cameos, I'm just going to say it right now, Peter Pan, Sonic, everything about that aspect was really fun and enjoyable. I literally was laughing out loud for like the first 15 to 20 minutes, so it does the job. It gets the job done. John Mulaney and Andy Samberg are fantastic as Chip 'n Dale. That being said, don't know if I need to rewatch this film. And next up, I watched Senior Year, the Netflix original film starring Rebel Wilson. And with a plot that's very basic, jokes that are very repetitive and they've been told before, I thought this film did a pretty good job. I know it's been getting a lot of hate for how simple the film is, how, again, these jokes have all been told before in way better ways. But overall, I had a fun time with it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fun. It, obviously tries to hit the nostalgia feels with a slightly older audience than myself. It would probably resonate more with my siblings and my older brother, just because they're at the age where they would have appreciated the soundtrack in this film, as well as they're at the age that Rebel Wilson is in the film, so it just makes more sense for that audience. I had a fun time with it. I don't think I will rewatch it. After that, I watched Jackass 4.5. There's not much to say about this. It's a Jackass film. Jackass 4.5, a lot of wieners, a lot of dumb jokes. It's fun. It's funny. I wouldn't rewatch it again. If I were to rewatch any of the Jackass films, I think it'd be Jackass number 2 and Jackass number 3. And going into the horror realm, I watched VHS 94. So leading up to Chloe Okuno's directorial debut feature film, Watcher, which is already released, I wanted to rank and review all of Chloe Okuno's previous short films. And she directed a segment of VHS 94, which was titled Storm Drain. I actually thought that segment was really well done. It is easily the best segment in the entire film. The film as a whole is probably one of the best in the VHS franchise. I still think the first is the best just because of how captured I was personally by that first VHS film. But this film's great. I think if you're a fan of horror, you will like this. And if you're a fan of just newcomers, new directors, new style, new taste, check this film out. It's really fun and a really crazy, gross watch, I will say also. And sticking with gross, I watched Terrifier for the first time. Terrifier came out in 2016. Holy shit, this film is so bizarre. Art the Clown is easily the scariest clown ever, period. He's scarier than Pennywise. I don't care what anybody says. This film is such a low budget film, but I don't care how the prosthetic makeup looks. I don't care how the kills actually look on screen. It's all scarier than Pennywise. And they're two very different clowns. Pennywise is supernatural, and this clown is just a person that's out there killing. But the kills are so gruesome. The Saw kill absolutely messed me up. I could not watch that. I just barely made it through that scene. And I don't look away from a lot of stuff, but that sequence was just disgusting. I hated it. I'm excited for Terrifier 2. I definitely think it'll be a lot more bloody, and I'm personally not prepared for that. But Terrifier 1, wow, I didn't expect it to be the way that it was. It's got such a big cult following. I really expected it to be a really stupid indie horror film. And it does have very cliche tropes throughout the whole film, but the kills, they just make it. And Art the Clown just makes it. His performance is fantastic. Moving on, Terrifier was great. Let's move on. We only have 2 things left for the month of May. I really didn't watch that much. And so moving on, we have Top Gun Maverick. I do have a review coming out for this film, so stay tuned. But I really did enjoy this film. I thought it was a fun sequel. It's a good, fun watch. I recommend it. If you're a fan of the original Top Gun, I would say see this film in theaters. If you're not a fan of the original but still have an interest maybe, still might say go to the theaters to see it, just because it is very much so a visual spectacle. Not so much important when it comes to the story, I'm going to say. So it wouldn't be a film that I watch at home, just because if you want to see jets flying, you want to see them on a big screen. And moving on to our last thing, we're going right back to Chloe Okuno with her second or third short film, I believe. I think it was her second, and that is The Dot-Coms. And I will say this is a reality style comedy based off of Facebook and Spotify, Instagram, etc. And it was a funny idea, overall executed okay. That being said, don't need to see it again. Okay, that's what I watched in the month of May. I did also actually watch some TV shows. I kind of forgot about that, so let me take a look. Oh, so I did watch Welcome to Flatch on Hulu. If you're a fan of The Office, Parks and Rec, I definitely recommend this show. It's one of my favorite new comedies. The two leading cast members are fantastic. It even has Stifler from American Pie as a priest, and it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. It's not crude at all either. Like it's a family comedy. So I would go check out Welcome to Flatch. Then, of course, as you know, Stranger Things came out, so I did finish that. I do have a review and prediction for the final 2 episodes coming out, so stay tuned for that video. And then the final thing that I watched in the month of May was The Office. Yes, I've watched The Office many times before. This is like the 4th time that I've finished the show all the way through completely. I love this show. I love The Office. It's probably my favorite TV show of all time, just because of how much I've watched it, how much I can go back to it and enjoy it. If I'm having a bad day, I could put on The Office and just immediately lighten up. I know it's not like Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is completely different, but top favorite shows are The Office and then Breaking Bad. So that's what I watched in the month of May. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have more to watch and more to review for the month of June this month. I've got tons of stuff coming, so stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Carter. Let me know, guys, if you want me to watch anything specifically during this month of June. If you want me to review anything specific, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys. I'm Carter, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.